Hi guys, Avnxt here, and I'm here today actually to try and explain how I made my Jarvan weapon. I'm gonna try just to make it as short as possible. I know that there's a lot of things going on on this weapon, but I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible. I'm gonna go through everything I used for it. So I'm gonna start with that. One thing first. I have something on my lip. I know it's not a fly on your screen. It's that I got so dehydrated at DreamHack, so my lips got super dry, and then they just and it hurts. So drink water. So anyways, how I made this, all the supplies or materials I used. So first is this mop. I had this mop stick, and then I have cardboard inside. It's made of expanding foam, and then I have newspaper and glue, wood glue, paper mache, craft foam, Eva foam, and also nail polish, like to make it just more shiny nail polish. So that's all the things I used, and of course paint. That's all the materials, but how did I make it, and which orders did I use everything? So see, my thing, it looks weird. Anyways, the first thing I did was cutting the shape of everything out in paper. You can bend the paper like this, you can see, like this, and then draw here. And when you cut it out, and then you open it, you'll have two exact same pieces. So that's why they look so nice and close to each other. That's like a tip I could give you. When you put this on paper, cut it out on a tissue like this. So I'm gonna show something. I'm gonna do a circle. Like, it's not gonna be a perfect circle, or a heart. Let's make a heart. So I'm gonna draw a heart here. Let's see. So look. Okay, you can't see. I have to draw it even harder. Okay. Here. Now you can see a half heart. You draw the half of the thing, and then you cut it out. So and then you have the half heart, but if you open it, you have a whole heart. Dunk dunk dunk. Yeah, so that's how I made all the patterns inside the weapon. I'll show you the whole weapon. Oh. So I made the paper is A3 paper. So I made this piece, then this piece, this piece, this piece, and then the rest of the piece. So I made 5 pieces. And then you take a cardboard, like a pizza box or something, works. And you put the patterns on the cardboard. You go with a pen or something just to know where you're gonna cut it out, and then I mean, I shouldn't say you, because this is how I did it, and you don't need how to do as I make it. And then I put the cardboard where they were supposed to be. I put tape on them so they stayed. And then I took it out for some expanding foam. So now you can see this weapon with cardboard, only cardboard. And then I use expanding foam. This is expanding foam I get here in Sweden. It's called Fugskum. Funny word. And one thing to be sure of, if you never used this before, always have it upside down when you use it, and then you press it. I'm not gonna press it because it's probably gonna explode. Yeah, this is expanding foam. I put expanding foam on all of the pieces on one side. this takes about 24 hours to dry, but before you let it dry, put some water on it. I just spray some water, like normal water, like this. Now I get all watery. And I just put it on expanding foam like everywhere. Not too much, but just try to cover it. And I'm not sure exactly why, but I've seen people do it, like Kamui did it, and that's why I do it. But first time I used expanding foam, I got huge bubbles inside, and it was horrible. But when I used water, I didn't get these bubbles, so it might be something that gets more impact. So now you have one side with expanding foam done. You let it dry for 24 hours, then you turn it. Of course, feel if it's actually dried. Otherwise, no. One thing I'm gonna give you as a tip when you're using expanding foam: wear gloves. The expanding foam, if you get it on our fingers, it's never getting off. It's horrible. It's horrible. I wear gloves to like everything I do with cosplay. Not when I paint, but everything else basically. So then you turn it, and then you do the same process. Take expanding foam on the side, put water on it, let it dry. So now, 2 days later, you have a stick with a lot of expanding foam on. And now the tricky part comes. You're gonna sculpt everything or cut everything down. One thing that I found very helpful for mine was that I tried to find where the cardboard was. You can actually you kind of feel it when you get to the cardboard with a knife. Even though if you do it too hard, you won't feel the thing. But that's what I tried to do. Try to find. So I started sculpting like here, just getting closer and closer until I saw the cardboard, and then I had just follow it. So you get like the big size of it. And then since it was like this bubble over here, you just had to carve everything away. So I carved one side first, and then I waited for a few days because it was so boring. It was exhausting. And then I made the other side. So now you have a weapon that's carved out, and it's looking like the Jarvan weapon. The next part is that you're gonna use newspaper and wood glue. And I'm gonna show you this. You can use either like just a normal newspaper, or like more of a newspaper that is more it's more, I don't know if you can see, but it's more glossy kind of. I don't know what it's called. This is more matte. I like to use this more than this because I don't know, I just like to use this more. Anyways, it's a weird language. It's Swedish. Woo. Newspaper cut out long, tiny, like not more than this big. Bigger if you want. I like to have like this or bigger. Especially with this weapon, it was so much to cover, so bigger was easier, but the bigger they are, the harder you can get the shape out. And then to put it on, you can use wood glue. And that's what I did. I also have a video, I'm gonna put it up here in the weapon, where I actually use newspaper and glue, so you can actually watch it if you want to. Next part, when you have this, you've done it on one side. I made it on one side and then I let it dry. It doesn't take 24 hours, it takes less than that. But I think I waited like 1 day. And then I turned it, put the same coat of newspaper and glue on it, let it dry, and then for the next part. The next part is called papiermache. And it's like some kind of weird, it smells horrible. But I'm gonna link down below where I bought mine. So papiermache, you can also see I have a video up already that I use papiermache. You can see how I apply it. It's easy. So you apply it on one side, let it dry, and then you apply it on the other side and let it dry. easy as that. Then you can also use a heat gun to make it dry faster if you want to. I didn't do that, I don't know why, because I had other stuff to do anyway, so I didn't mind waiting. Next part is the most boring part ever in the history of cosplay: sanding. You have to make it smooth. I use just normal sandpaper for this. I cut out a tiny piece and then I use sand. Woo. Simple as that. And when you feel satisfied how it looks like, how sand, I felt everything to feel if there was some hard edges or something sticking out or anything. So just go through everything just to feel at it, so you don't have like a tiny spike somewhere later and like, oh no, I have to sand it now and then repaint it. And so yeah, sand. After that you have a sanding super weapon. Woo. And then I actually started painting lines. I painted all the lines where all this craft foam was gonna be, where the diamond was gonna be, everything I painted with a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, pen. I don't know, it's a color Sharpie, I think it's a color Sharpie, I don't know. It's a pen, it's like pen. I don't think I have one close to me, but a pen. That you can actually see the lines. So I made all the lines here, and then I took a picture on it, so I can make the same lines on the other side. So and then I just put the lines on the other side as well. So I have the lines on both sides. Next part, I actually started with putting the diamonds on. So how I made these was the gold and the blue. I cut it. I used just like this, made a half of it, and then I cut it up. Let's say this is a diamond, and then I just looked at it and just like, oh yeah, this is a good size. This is a good size. I took craft foam. I'm gonna show you what craft foam is. Have everything stacked on each other and now everything falling. This is just a tiny sheet of craft foam. This is grey. I suggest if you're gonna have grey, use grey craft foam. It was so much easier. So I put the pattern on the craft foam. I cut it out. So now I have a heart. And then I try to see like line where how big this gold was gonna be. So when you had the craft foam, you had the heart here. Let's say this craft foam, and then I just drew like with my Sharp again how big of a frame I wanted, and then I cut it out with this little knife. This is very sharp and very easy to do it with. So now you have a tiny heart and then you have a frame. I glued the frame on, and then I took the tiny heart, put it on Eva foam, used the pen to mark it, cut it out, and then I used my Dremel to do the edges. You can see the edges are kind of like inwards-ish. I used my Dremel to make it look more diamond-ish. And then I glued it on as well, so now it actually fits there. And I don't know if you understand, but I hope you do. So I made all the diamonds that way, and then I took my glue gun. No, first I actually took a sheet of craft foam, and then I used scissor to do small like lines. I don't know what's it called. Cut tiny pieces, like long, tall pieces of craft foam, and then I used glue gun, and then I folded the lines. I glued, followed the line. I took a tiny piece of craft foam, put it on, let it dry, and then I usually did so it went from here outside, so you could cut the piece off here. That's easiest the way I did it. So I started here, and then I made this one first, and then I made this one, and then I made these, then that, etc, etc. Like made it outwards so I could cut them off easily than just cutting them off close to something else. After that, I needed to paint everything. So it's actually like light gray and then dark gray on the side. So I took light gray first, and then just painted the whole upper part, not the sides, just the front and the back. And then I took darker and painted on the sides. Then I went in closer to like do the lines, so they actually looked nice. So I used light gray to make the lines again, so they kind of fit more to the craft foam. As you see, the craft foam ends where the dark starts. And then I painted these gold, this silver, and this blue. I started with the blue one, and then the gold, and then the silver. And then I actually used silver, and like I'm actually gonna show you. I did like this. I took a brush, and then I took silver on it. So let's say I'm gonna paint here. So I took a bit silver on it, used the paper, like getting most of the paint off. You don't want too much. And then I just did like this all over. You can see it's like somewhere glowy-ish. And that's why it's because I have silver in it. And then after that I made the lines. There's black lines going all around all the craft foam. So I took a tiny pencil, made all the black lines everywhere. The last part, the absolute last part I did on the weapon was I took, for example, on the craft foam, the tiny silver pieces, I took dark, I took black and then silver, and I mixed it up to make it more dark silver. And then I took some on my finger, and then I just did like this to dust so it didn't look so silverish. So because if you go closer and look on details, you can see it's like different kind of shades on it, and I did the same on the gold. I took gold, black, and then put on my finger and just went all around. Last part with putting the polish, the nail polish on, the glow, like the shining stuff on, and yeah, and that was complete. Then I completed the weapon part, and the handle part is brown. I got this brown color, tiny, and I took white to make it more. I didn't want it. It was kind of dark. I wanted it more light brown, so I took some white, painted everything. Then I took some brown, just normal, without white or black, and just took it with my finger, just like getting it all over so it looks like wood. You can see that it's darker somewhere and then it's lighter somewhere else. So yeah, I guess that's the whole progress of my weapon. Yeah, I think that's 19 minutes to show you all this. Pretty impressive. Anyways, I hope this was helpful in any way. If you ever have any questions about how to plan or anything, I would love to help. I hope you have a nice day, and I hope you liked my Jarvan cosplay. I'm gonna show you pictures after I'm done talking on my actual cosplay in action, along with other cosplayers from my cosplay group, Dream Cosplay. I hope you support them as much as you support me, because I love them. Sorry. Yeah. Anyways, subscribe and like and favorite and share and blah, everything. Also, don't forget to like my page and Dream Cosplay page. I think think that's it. Hope you like my weapon. I hope I helped you. And if I didn't, I'm sorry, I suck at this. So questions down below or on my Facebook page, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photo.